DJI Mavic 4 Pro, unavailable in the USA. Got that coming up next. Bill John Revere here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Rotor Talk Live, and I was joined by Mr. Ron Braun and very special guest, Captain Ray Kelly. We spent the entire show discussing everything about the DJI Mavic 4 Pro unavailable in the USA. We looked at that from all angles, gave our thoughts and analysis of it, and also some of our thoughts and analysis about some of the review videos that were out there as well. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. We had an inkling of this last night when I was on Drone Nation, and I made mention of the fact that, you know, that the teaser trailer wasn't out on DJI's webpage for the United States. It was out everywhere else, but it wasn't out for the United States.
Right.
And the other thing was, and I thought about this afternoon, usually you get that email from DJI as well, too. We didn't get the email.
Yep.
So there were two things right there that probably should have. Well, I know the one raised an alarm bell with me with a video, but not getting the email as well, too. That really kind of in conjunction, you know, now we know what's going on here. Well, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about here, which I absolutely don't know how this happened, but I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see if I got this. No, I got the wrong one.
I know you probably heard, though. Eddie
yeah,
Nunez,
I'm going to go ahead.
Eddie Nunez got one, and Mark
Yeah,
Fisher
that's what I'm going to put up here. Eddie Nunez got one at the DJI store in New York City. Okay. And what I did was, you know, and kudos to Eddie, good deal for him. I'm real curious about what he paid for it. But one of my questions was, and I got this up here. How was he able to get that? So what I did was this afternoon, I got online with DJI customer support. And I'm like, okay, let's see if I can kind of pin this down and see what's going on here. How were people able to purchase a Mavic 4 Pro at the DJI store in New York City when they are not available for sale in the United States? Can you clarify? Hi there. And this went round and round and round.
They didn't really know. They couldn't give you an answer, Bill?
I totally understand. Give me a moment. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Can you tell me what? And I provided the name and the address of the store here. In this case, you may contact them to check to see if there's available stock. And I'm like, okay, right. They sold the Mavic 4 Pro today. How were they able to do that when they're not for sale in the U.S.? I totally understand. Another totally understand here. We apologize for your bad experience. I mean, seriously, they're not getting what I have to say. So your request has been properly noted down and will be passed on to our hire department. They will contact you in 24 to 48 business hours. Thank you for understanding. I dropped them my name, phone number, and email address. Thank you for your information. Please rest assured. Okay, and that's all. Thank you. Okay. I mean, Ray, it had a similar answer because I posted something out on Twitter. Similar answer. It was a canned answer. They really weren't answering me on this.
Yeah, I guess it was one of those things where there are very few of them in the U.S. really available. And
I think
Eddie and Mark Fish. I was talking to Mark Fish as he was driving on 95, hoping to get there before they were all sold out, and he made it.
Oh, he did get one.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Now, did he tell you how much he paid for it?
Let me see. I'll check. I don't think so. You know, and I hate to be nosy and ask those type of
I know. I'm the same way too.
But he was texting me, and I was driving, and he was driving, and I didn't think he'd make it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
Eddie was in there, and there was another gentleman in there with Eddie. And I think he was buying one too. Then I heard Xavier. I don't know if you know Xavier.
Yeah, I know Xavier. Yeah,
he got one too, I was told.
Wow.
But
I'm thinking they got in to, and this is just a pure assumption on my part, that they got to the store before the whole tariff thing went down. So, and how they got into the United States is another matter, because I know some of the reviewers that got them to review had to go up to Canada to get them. Okay. Yep. That's Mark right there.
There's Mark right there.
Yep.
Does he look happy or what?
He looks very happy. He looks
and
very
orderly.
happy.
Good old orderly. Yeah.
So, just there's lots of questions with that. I mean, kudos to them for going, Eddie and Mark and Xavier. Kudos to them for being, getting, being on the ball and getting there and being able to get that. I mean, that's wow. Okay.
To be honest with you, Bill, if I had not bought that Mavic 3 Pro just 3 weeks ago, I probably would have went in.
Yeah, and that makes
again, it's a higher price drone that I like to spend. I really like to stay a lot below that. And I was told it's the creator kit or model, is the more expensive.
Right. It's the one that had the DJI RC Pro 2 in it. Yeah. So kudos, and like I said, kudos to them. My question to DJI is, since they made such a big, and we're going to go over, I found another website that had some Q&A with DJI. We're going to go over that here in a minute. What my big question again to them is, since it was, you made the decision, the tariffs were included in that decision-making process, not to sell them here in the United States, but yet your store, which is owned by you, it's not leased to anybody or it is owned by DJI. Your store went out there and sold them, but yet you're not selling them online. Okay. There's a disconnect there. Okay.
Exactly.
So maybe we'll find out what's going on. Now, this one article that I saw, and this is on, I don't know if you ever heard, it's called The Verge.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, they do tech articles, and they do a lot of drone related stuff. And what was really, I got alert. I have an alert set up through my Gmail that anytime certain keywords are found, it'll send me an email. And I have, DJI is one of them, and this came up. And now I'm going to go ahead and share this article. And this is a really good article. And I wanted to go over this here, especially for the Q&A here. Now, the first part talks about DJI skipping the U.S. with its most advanced drone yet, and this is just talking about some fluff and everything. The company says Trump's tariffs were among the top reasons it chose to abandon a U.S. launch, and there's also the fact 7 months later, U.S. Customs is still holding up DJI's ability to import drones into the country. Last October, DJI said misunderstanding initially forced the company to abandon its plans to offer the Air 3S at retail. This time, DJI will not sell its new drone here at all. We sent the company over a dozen questions about this, and you can find full answers at the bottom of the post, okay? And the article goes over all the specs and all the features and everything, which we'll cover here in a little bit. That's not the main reason that I wanted to go into this article. The main reason is with these questions here, all right? So what exactly DJI is saying now? Trump's biggest tariffs on China have been paused for 90 days. The pause won't change what happens today with the launch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of touched on this morning, and I know Michael Wright mentioned it last night during Drone Nation, is that at midnight tonight, that expires, okay?
Right.
And that's why I've told people, you may want to get out there, and, if you're a late night person,
order it online
on the website and take a look and see. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We don't know. But here's some of the
Bill, can I tell you something? I may have to disappear for 4 or 5 minutes because that guy who came from my Mini 3 Pro last night is on his way back to actually pick it up. He made up his mind. So he knocks on the door. I have to go.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'll be right back.
That's fine. Okay. Will the DJI Mavic 4 Pro go on sale in the United States? If not, why not? The Mavic 4 Pro will not be available for sale in the U.S. upon its global launch on May 13th. Like many global companies, we have had to adjust our market strategy as local conditions in the industry environment have evolved. While we do not have a timeline for when we can introduce the product to the U.S. market, we're closely monitoring the situation and actively exploring every possible solution. Can you provide top 3 reasons in order? No answer. How much did tariffs have to do with the decision? Under conditions of high uncertainty, adjustments to market strategies are not always driven by a single factor. Tariffs, however, are certainly among key considerations here. Here's Ron. Hey, Ron.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Hey, Ron.
Good. I'm reading an article from The Verge in some
Good
Q&A that they
publication.
had with DJI about the Mavic 4 Pro.
Oh, good. Good.
Okay. How much did the ticking time clock in the U.S. have to do with the decision? This was not a consideration as DJI had already received approval from the FCC and TSCA certificate needed to launch the Mavic 4 Pro in the U.S. market. What U.S. retail price were you originally hoping to hit? What U.S. retail price would you have needed to ask in order to satisfy Trump's tariffs? We're not able to share any insight on our pricing strategy. Tariffs aside, did DJI obtain all the required clearances to put the product on sale? Which clearances are still missing? Yes, DJI is fully committed to compliance in every market where we operate. We obtain all necessary clearance and approvals before making any product available for sale. The DJI Mavic 4 Pro has already been approved by the FCC and received the TSCA certificate needed to be launched in the U.S. market. How soon do you anticipate the Mavic 4 Pro might arrive in the U.S., if not now, within the year with 2026? The United States is an important market, and we're committed to making our products available to our U.S.-based customers. While we currently do not have an estimated timeline, we are closely monitoring the situation and actively exploring every possible solution. Do you anticipate not shipping to the U.S. at all, ever, because you will have missed the window of opportunity for it to be fresh and new and will make more sense for a successor to arrive in the U.S. instead? No answer. Will the Mavic 4 Pro be sold in Canada, Mexico, every other country where DJI sells drones? The DJI Mavic 4 Pro will be available in all regions where DJI operates except the U.S. market starting Tuesday, May 13th. This includes Canada and Mexico. If U.S. residents, and this is a key one right here, if U.S. residents purchase a DJI Mavic 4 Pro outside the U.S. from a DJI authorized retailer, will your U.S. arm honor the standard limited product warranty? To be clear, we do not recommend purchasing DJI products abroad and bringing them back, as you may be subject to various import regulations. Our limited warranty for DJI drones is only valid in the country or region where you purchased your drone. International coverage is not offered for DJI drone products. So those of you who may buy it on eBay or may buy it from Canada or somewhere else, be forewarned. They will not honor the warranty for that, all right?
Bill, can I stop you? What about Mark Fisher, who purchases at the DJI store in New York?
And
what's going to happen with him as a warranty? And
also Eddie purchased it there too. Yeah. That's a good question, Ron. That's a real good question here. Outside the Mavic 4 Pro, can you confirm that DJI drone shipments are still getting held up by U.S. Customs? DJI continues to actively work with U.S. Customs and Border Protection to resolve current customs-related misunderstanding. You can read more about what's happening on our blog. When do you anticipate supply normalizing into U.S. online and physical retail? DJI remains committed to the U.S. market and is closely monitoring recent changes affecting product availability. We are actively working to address and mitigate any influences and uncertainties to ensure products are accessible to our customers soon. Outside the Mavic 4 Pro, there are any other future U.S. product launches on pause. There's a reason not to believe a DJI Mini would ship in the U.S. this year if a Mavic is not. DJI remains committed to the U.S. market and will continue to introduce new products to the market. As always, we do not comment on products that have not been announced or launched. Can you confirm that you aren't shipping even small quantities of the drone into the U.S. for purposes of product reviews and testing? As the DJI Mavic 4 Pro will not be available for sale in the U.S. market or launch, we will not provide review samples to U.S.-based reporters on loan. We will share any further info when it's available. Okay, that's really interesting, okay, because we know, okay, Billy Kyle, Original Dobo, Russ, Potato Jet are the ones for some of the reviews that I've seen here, and they're all in the United States.
Right.
And we know that they didn't get them sent to them here in the United States. I know Billy went up to Canada to get his, and I assume Ken probably did the same thing and probably the other ones as well. So, I mean, That's a real interesting comment right there. Very interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But
And remember-
KC was saying Adorama has them in stock, not a pre-order.
Really? Well, here's what I saw on Adorama. It said that they would ship like May 14th or May 15th. All right. But I think that's just a come on. I think they want you to go ahead and pre-order that, and they say, "Oh, we don't have it in stock right now. We'll notify you when it's available," kind of a thing.
Remember, anybody can take a pre-order, on a product they don't have.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and remember, Bill, this person was a PR person from DJI, so they had they had a list of things they could say and they couldn't say. So you're only getting something from somebody, just a PR at DJI. I mean, they don't even know all the answers to these questions because they only know what they're told they're allowed to say. That's like a PR person from any company.
Right. Now, before you joined us, what I did was I went out to DJI support chat, and I asked them, I said, okay, I had a couple of friends that were able to purchase the Mavic 4 Pro from the DJI store in New York City, but you're not selling it online. Why could they purchase that there, and why could we not purchase them online? They were giving me canned answer after canned answer. Okay. And then they finally took my name, email address, and phone number and said they'll get back to me in 24 to 48 hours.
Tom Dowling confirmed in the chat that negative Adorama has them on pre-order. Like I said, I could take pre-orders on Mavic 4. Anybody can take a pre-order. They don't actually have the product. And
Tommy, you gonna get it, Tom?
Well, I mean, the thing is, now if you're going to get it, how are you going to get it? And if you do get it in the U.S., it's not under warranty. So I would want one without any support.
Right. No.
Well, and Tom asked this
The
question.
Verge is reliable. Whether the Verge is reliable or not, it's they're just get PR speak from somebody at the PR department at DJI. I mean, it sounds exactly like what a PR person would say in that article.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that is just. I mean, ChatGPT may have even typed that up. Okay, for DJI. Yeah. I mean, it was it was a canned response. But irregardless of Tom, whether or not the Verge is a reliable source, I wanted to get this Q&A out there because somebody's asking some relevant questions that I think a lot of people want to get some answers to. All right. And I wanted to get answers to the question, why are two of my good friends, which, or at least three of them, were able to get the drones in New York City today, which is good for them, good for Mark, good for Eddie, and good for Xavier. But, the question remains, why were they allowed to go out and get them when we can't buy them online right now? And
Tom answered your question in the chat, Ray.
He's working on back channel. Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
So Bill, the PR, they asked the PR person about the future drones. Like a lot of people don't even care about the Mavic 4 Pro. A lot of people are interested in the mini drones, like the Mini 5 Pro would be a much more interest. The Mini 5 Pro, if it was released, the Mini 5 Pro would sell 5 times as many units as the Mavic 4 Pro. So how does this doesn't bode well for people that are looking forward to the Mini 5 Pro, does it, Bill?
No, it doesn't. It's and I think, and I have somebody who just posted this here. I just saw it. All right. Yeah. Do I think, and then you can pull the trigger with Canada pricing? Don't know. Okay.
Yeah, Bill said earlier today, don't go to bed early tonight.
Don't go to bed, still check that. But, we don't know. We don't know. We know what DJI is from their PR is saying, and they're probably trying to give you some, they're throwing some breadcrumbs your way, but it's not
just
really.
A reminder, Bill, that PR person, even if it was going to go on sale tonight at the Canadian prices, that PR person wouldn't tell you that until after it happens.
Exactly. 100% correct, Ron. Yeah, they're not going to divulge that right now. And then too, they're also leading you to believe that now. I know Ron's talked to some people who are still having delays, but I've had several people said that they really haven't. Now, I think a lot of it depends on where you're at in the country. As far as where you're, when you place your order with DJI. I haven't really heard a whole lot more about DHL in their, them stopping the over $800 thing. There hasn't been any more discussion or talk about that. But I think Ron makes a good point. These are just talking points right now. And this is what the company line is from DJI, even though, let's say, it could happen tonight at midnight when the tariffs expire, that it be available out on the website. Okay. So if I were you and wanting to get one, I'd stay up tonight, put on a pot of coffee, grab your Coca-Cola and have some caffeine and, check it around midnight. You could get lucky.
And Bill, you and I both work for big companies, and we know that the PR person got those talking points, but, beyond probably before today, so that probably the executives at the company don't even know what was going to happen, say at midnight tonight or whatever. So the PR person couldn't possibly know if even the people that make the shot callers did not know what was going to happen yet, because everything's still in flux.
Absolutely. And that's a good question that Dre just posed right there too. Dre, that is a good question. And that's kind of what my question kind of is. How'd they get them? I agree 100%.
Yeah. What was with the DJI store just having a few, and putting them out there? Was that kind of a mistake? I mean, even again, I think things are such flux, Bill, that DJI store, when they got those units in, they still didn't know at that point that the drone wasn't going to be available today.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody knows what's happening more than a couple hours ahead of time. So they probably got those drones in, and they probably didn't get the proper instruction to maybe pull them off the shelf and hide them. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm just making things up. But I think things are such a scramble. What's going to happen with the release and the pricing that nobody from the top guy at DJI down to the guys that work at that store in New York City really know what's happening in the near future.
Well, I talked about it a little bit with Ray before you joined, is I'm real curious what Eddie and Xavier and Mark Fisher paid for these. Okay. Did they pay over and above? Or did they pay what the Canadian prices were kind of showing in US dollars? We don't know. Mark's a professional. He's making money with the drone, and I don't speak for anybody else, but a lot of us, I'm only willing to pay for the drone at kind of a reasonable tariff. I'm not willing to pay some high tariff to get it. I don't need it that bad that I'm going to overpay 2 or 3 times for it or whatever. I don't want to buy it much above what the real cost should be. Exactly. And Ray said he kind of would be considering it if he didn't buy the Mavic 3 Pro a few weeks back. But, I think all of us are pretty much in agreement, and most of us in here that would like to get it, that we'll pay the fair market value for it. But the over and above, no, that's not going to happen. Okay. It's going to sit there. They're going
Ray, would you like to sell one of those Mavic 3 Pros?
Actually, my son may be making a trip to pick the Mavic 3 up. Actually,
well, if he
I told him I'm not shipping it to you. You got to come get it.
I was gonna say, if he doesn't make it, consider me, Ray.
Okay.
Well, and we're going to get to. I know some people want to know. I watched several videos today, and we want to kind of go over that here in a little bit. But I want to continue this discussion for a few more minutes here. And Dre brought up a good point. How did they get their stock ahead of time? Okay. But, and I think that's a great question, Dre. And I think what happened was, I think DJI, everything was in gear up until a certain point. Yes. And that at that point, they decided to pull the plug on the release. All right. And I think that probably was about a week or so ago. They probably did that, but they had already shipped units to the store, the DJI store in New York City. Now, isn't there another store? I think there's one in LA.
I think only like maybe LA, New York, and Chicago. Only the biggest cities. Like Philadelphia's a big city. Philadelphia doesn't even have one.
Doesn't even have it. Yeah. So
Angel had said the store in Paramus had closed and went to New York City. Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't 2 stores. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's that kind of.
Oh, here's Tom saying something. The DJI store in Manhattan.
Prices in UK. All right,
Officially.
Mark.
Officially a DJI company store. Is that where Eddie and Mark went? Did they go to the Manhattan store, Ray?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
they did.
So there you go. Tom answered the question for you. It's not officially a DJI store, so that's why the sales were allowed to go through.
Okay. Yeah. See, and you hit that's, and Tom, thank you for posting that. That's that's very enlightening now, because I'm thinking it's officially part of the company. It's like it has their name on it, so it's their brand, so it's them selling it. Because most people, I found out a few years back, Starbucks doesn't, they own every single store. Okay, there's no individual store owner, so you can't go out and become a Starbucks proprietor. Okay, they own all their stores. And I thought this kind of deal was like Starbucks, since DJI has their name on it, that it was all DJI. And that's enlightening, Tom. Thank you for sharing that.
Now Joe Noki in the chat saying that there's a Fifth Avenue location.
That's the address, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the address is on Fifth Avenue, Ron.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wow. But
Okay.
that still doesn't explain
camera eyes. Really? I didn't know that, Tom. Okay. I thought that was a separate
Yeah, thank you for all this information, Tom. Appreciate that. That's great. And still, that kind of still begs the question, Dre brought up a great point, how they get this stock.
How'd that little store get this
how this little store, who's not really, officially part of DJI, get this stock. And maybe
there's Mark Fisher now in the chat. How you doing, Mark?
Mark,
that's
good to
the
see
only
you.
store in the country. Is on Fifth Avenue. But Mark, Tom was reporting this. That's not even really owned by DJI. Is that your understanding too, Mark? I mean,
Mark has a new name now, so he's known as Mavic 4 Pro Mark.
Oh, there he is. M Drone 1.
Maybe the first time we'll see that drone in the Mavic 4 Pros when Mark brings it to the meetup next year, right?
Yeah, I know. He'll have it, no doubt about it.
Well,
I give him credit. I mean, he jumped in the car and he started driving.
How long did it take to get?
It took him 3.5 hours, as far as I know. Yeah.
How long?
3.5 hours.
Wow.
Right, Mark?
Wow.
Yeah. And he was driving in a convertible too.
Mark, that's the official PGI store. What does PGI stand for?
I think he meant to type D.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That's probably what that is.
So then we have a little conflict there on whether it is or it isn't.
Well,
John Flynn. I wonder if he went to Canada. John was on his way to Canada to get one.
Really? But he should have read that PR's person. He's going to get a non-supported drone.
Yeah, and I think
if it crashes on the first flight, he's out whatever he paid.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing, and that's one thing I want to tell everybody. Whether or not you think the Verge is reliable or not, and that can respond from DJI, I think that's accurate. I think they're only going to honor warranties in the country that you purchase it in. So you purchase it in Canada, that warranty will be honored in Canada. You purchase it in Mexico, it'll be honored in Mexico. Bill,
I'm gonna jump on that in a second. But Mark said he confirmed 3.5 hours. He's actually going to fly it right now at night, because it's night in the East Coast here as he's driving to a location. So he's going to get his first low light video. And Bill, what you're talking about is correct in the camera industry. If you buy a camera from Japan, you don't have any support in the U.S. Like there's certain Nikons and Canons that you can't get in the U.S. You can go on eBay and such places and order them, but they wouldn't be supported over here by the company.
It's the exact same thing, and that's a great point, Ron. You can buy ham radios from Japan, okay, the ICOM and the Asus and everything, but two things are different. One, the band plan is different over in Japan than here in the United States, and number two, and more importantly, they don't honor the warranty. Okay. Yeah. So, while you may save
most cameras, you can switch the language inside the camera. So even if you bought a Japanese camera, you could go in and change the – the, 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 everything in the menus to English and vice versa. streaming this where the question will be
Mhm.
software
Yeah.
available to fly. Oh well,
Yeah.
they've already put the app out that flies
Right.
the the Mavic 4 Pro. That was released this morning at the same time the drone
Okay.
was the
Yeah,
app.
quick cap. We don't really know. We're going to take a look after midnight tonight and see if it might be available because that's when the tariff is expiring. But that's only a guess on our part. We
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a real reach. To answer your question, we do in the short term we do not know when that drone will be available.
Yeah, so we really don't know.
Speculation at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the same thing. I'm going to just say AS Films here, available in Canada. Go there and buy it. Yeah, again, no support if you have any issues with it. You have whatever a $3,000 brick or more if it doesn't work right.
yeah. I'm going to say this, and I know this morning I said if you really want one, go out on eBay, and I'm going to retract that. I'm going to say, you know what? If you really want one, just sit and wait, hang tight,
Yeah.
because like I said, and this is something, and I haven't mentioned this tonight, but I did say it this morning, is there's a lot of money on the table here, okay? And DJI is not going to pass up all this money. I mean, I know what Lauren has said in terms of the share of the market and everything as far as the United States is concerned, but it's a good chunk of change for DJI, and they're not going to want to miss that, all right? So I think how this plays out, I think you just sit back, exhale, wait a few days, and see how this happens. I think, check tonight at midnight. But if it doesn't happen, just, relax. It's going to happen. It's going to get there. We'll be able to get them. When, we don't know. But just hang loose and hang tight. And because the longer you wait, the longer this plays out, those tariffs are going to go away, and you're going to pay what I'll call a fair market value price for that. All right. Be an incrementally over what the Mavic 3 was, the Mavic 3 Pro. You'll pay accordingly, a step up because of the technology, not this drastic jump that would have been with the tariffs. So, my advice on everybody is hang tight. Okay. It's just absolute. I said it this morning. I'll say it again. Just hang loose here. It will come back in our favor. Just really just kind of pull it back here a little bit. So
hey, Josh did the right thing. He got a VOD 2 today. The heck with the old Mavic 4. Yeah, there's other good drones out there to get, right? I mean,
congratulations, Josh. Congratulations.
Yeah, and Mark's got a comment here. I know people are saying you can't do the update, but I just did the update. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, if I got the update on my phone for the Fly app or whatever, why why wouldn't it come down on the other devices or whatever? So thanks for that, Mark. That really helps clarify people that are worried about the firmware. Again, don't worry about the software and firmware at this point because you really can't get the drone anyways. But it's available. Why would we be speculating about about the Mavic 5 before the 4 arrives? Yeah, I agree with Richard. Let's just skip the 4 and go right to the 5. Then hopefully the tariffs will solve by then.
I love that. Yeah. That's really good. Now, what I thought was real interesting today, and I want to spend some time talking about this, are the review videos, because initially, the only 2 that I could find from U.S. based content creators was Original Dobo and Russ. They were the only I could find from U.S. Now, Sean from Air Photography from Canada had one out there. DM Productions.
Billy's finally came out.
Did his. Now, Billy's didn't come out till later this afternoon, which I was kind of surprised why it didn't come out.
You heard the PR person's comments. Billy probably released that on his own. He probably was pressured not to put it out.
It could be. It could be. We don't. See. When and just to inform all you guys about these NDAs, because I've seen one and I've read through it before, just to let you guys know. Okay, they're real strict with this, and DJI has dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, and they will actually tell you what time you can release this video. Okay, I mean it's written in this NDA, and you don't want to break an NDA because it'll be costing you a lot of money if you break that NDA.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but they all have actual links, right? Affiliate links,
right?
Yeah. Right.
But of course, for certain ones to release it, and for others to be told not to release it, that's sort of unfair.
Well, Ray, yeah, you got to consider that affiliate link's doing them no good at all for the U.S. since they can't order it anyways. So, I mean, the money that the U.S. reviewers are making off the affiliate links went away today. They made zero off of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you
Hey,
know,
Bill, just unrelated to anything we're talking about here, I did talk to somebody today. I can't say who it is that has the Mavic 4 Pro. Somebody that's not in the U.S. and they were very impressed with the drone. I mean, they, you know, I don't want to poo-poo it because I mean, he was really impressed with it. He's had it for a while, and he was very impressed with the drone.
And I would say that after watching all the review videos that I did, and let me tell you the ones, you know, I've seen them all. I saw Potato Jet's, I saw Billy's, I saw Sean's, I saw Russ's. Who else? I saw DM
Aldrin. I didn't see one from Aldrin.
No, Aldrin didn't have one out there.
Really?
I looked for that.
It's a long ride from San Diego to Canada, Ray.
Yeah, he didn't have one.
The guy in England released the Mini 4 Pro video early. He has it.
I think all of them were equally as good, but I really miss not seeing Aldrin's today, and I'll tell you why. Because what Aldrin's done in the past, and I really like it, and he's one of the few that actually do this. He would do a side by side, split the screen evenly. Okay,
yes.
You would have like the Mavic 3 on this side, Mavic 3 Pro, and then the Mavic 4 Pro on this side. Same exact flight for both. And that way you could really kind of judge things. And I really like that. Now, you know,
and all the reviews have no fluff in them.
The other thing, Rick Smith didn't have one, right?
Yes. Correct? Rick Smith didn't have one today either.
I enjoy watching it.
I believe Rick Smith has the drone, but he probably was told not to put the video up. And Rick he follows things to the letter.
Okay.
The flap was updated and support. Yeah, Richard's right. It does. So listen, guys. Here's my Mavic 3.
We thought you were going to reach back and say, "I got the Mavic 4 Pro."
Yeah. Well, no, this doesn't fly any worse today with the Mavic 4 being released than it did yesterday. So if you still have this drone, you still have a great drone. You know, don't feel bad because you can't get a Mavic 4 Pro that's slightly better than this drone.
Right, and thanks, Dre and Tom. Yeah, Ken did do a split screen, and I did like that.
Okay.
That was a good video. I would say out of all the videos out there, watch them all. Okay, Potato Jet's to me, and this is no disrespect for Potato Jet. I don't think he's really watching us tonight, but it was not really what I would consider. You know, he was talking with his friends. They went up to a mountain. They did some things. It was not what I would consider the review that I want to see. I want to see.
That's a typical Potato Jet review, though.
Right, right, exactly, Ron. You know, I want to see a Billy Kyle, original Dobo, a Sean from Air Photography, that kind of thing. You know, where they're comparing features, talking about things, which is really good. And it's really enlightening. All these videos were great.
Potato Jet's more of a videographer, photographer than he is a drone person. So, you know, sometimes you can look at his videos and you can see the video quality more so because he has an eye for that. He really is he's a filmmaker.
Right, he's a filmmaker, and that's
a drone reviewer. And sometimes you want to look for the quality of something he may show it the best. But you're right. Overall, he's not going through all the points that you're used to seeing in a drone video.
You know, and I really just, you know, and I watched a couple overseas as well too. DM Productions, I think, was one. And then I forget what the other one was. Both, they were all good. Everyone I saw today was really good. Really, Ken's really kind of stood out a little bit to me. You know, I thought it was good. Billy's all, you know, you can't.
Yeah, I had a doctor's appointment, unfortunately. I didn't get to see too many today. I'm going to watch some today. Hey, Josh Haley in the chat says he prefers Potato Jet's reviews because he uses it rather than just gets bogged down into details.
That's a good thing as well, too. Okay, that's a good, and I'm not saying not to watch it, but if you want to learn about it, okay, the videos to watch are like Ken's and Billy's and Russ's.
Look at MAH's photography dinosaur. Here, I got the Tyrannosaurus Rex of drones here now, Bill. or the Brontosaurus.
Yeah, it was Michael. It
Yeah, I
really
can't wait.
was.
I can't wait to watch it. I said I had doctor's appointment said that I didn't get to see it, but I'm going to watch
Billy's
it
was
after the
Billy said
show.
this was the longest review he's ever 33 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
And it's the longest one he's ever done.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know how fast Billy talks. It's like, and Tom just put down, slow it down to 0.75. Maybe.
Yeah. If he would slow it down, it'd been an hour long. MHM photography says Sean Air Photography did a great job on his review. That's the first one I watched, and that was a great review.
Yeah, it was. These guys do a great job, and they've been doing it for a while. Putting out reviews on the day the drone premieres, and they don't disappoint. They tell you what you want to know, what you need to know, everything about it. And I think what's really kind of ironic with all of us, okay, I've been sold on this like 10 times over, but oops, I can't hit the buy button kind of thing.
Yeah. You got your money ready, but you can't spend it. Hey, Josh in the chat says, I'm gonna second his comment too. My 1099 Air 3 still continues to impress me. Just saying. Yeah, that's why I don't feel bad sitting here because my Mavic 3 has been sidelined for a while now. The Air 3S is my go-to drone, and it does everything I need to do. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to make any more money with a 6K drone than I am a 4K drone.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And Josh nailed that with his comment there. So yeah. I mean that's very appropriate here. So all in all, those are the reviews that I've seen. Now there are other ones from other content creators. Most of them are overseas, and and I really haven't heard a lot of some of them. I looked for DC Rainmaker. He didn't have one, which I was kind of surprised because he normally does have one.
Well, maybe they didn't send him one because even though he's not in America, he is an American.
That's true. So, I don't know. And then the other guy over in Denmark, Henry.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't have one either.
Okay.
It's kind of surprising some of the ones that got it and some of the ones that didn't. Now, I've also heard too now, and correct me if I'm wrong, you content creators out there that are getting these ahead of time, I'm hearing now that DJI just doesn't straight up provide them to you anymore. It's like a 50-50 kind of proposition. Have you heard anything about that, Ron?
Well, who said it? Somebody let that out in the last few weeks in a video or a post. I forget who posted that, and I can't confirm that, Bill. I think all the posts about that came from one original person saying that. I don't think that's been confirmed by a second source.
Right. Because I know the way it's always gone. Okay, up until hearing that comment, it's always been, in exchange for your review, DJI will send you the unit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, people that review high-end cameras. I mean, cameras that cost $2,000. Camera buys cost more than $2,000. They usually only get them to a certain period, and they have to send on to the next reviewer.
Yeah.
The high-end camera reviews do not keep it. They ship it on to the next person who's going to review it.
And that's kind of the way it is with ham radios. Like the three big stores that sell ham radios in the United States, Ham Radio Outlet, DX Engineering, and Gigaparts, they'll send them to the top content creators, but, it's for like a 2-week period, and then they have to send it back to the store, okay? And what's nice is they still sell those as refurbished, or, an open box item kind of thing, so you can get a little bit of a discount on it. But, they're testing a new unit, which is a good thing. But they don't get to keep it. And, if they want to buy one, they have to buy one with their own money. So that's kind of how that works for them as well.
Look at Tom's comment, 2 comments back. Does the Mavic 4 make you a better photographer, videographer? Individual skill accounts for 85%, 5% equipment, 10% luck. So a good comment, Tom. And a lot of people always say that instead of buying a new camera or a better camera, just learn to use the one better that you already have.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's a good point, Josh. That's a real good point.
Yeah, I mean, still some of the photographs that still sell for the highest thing were shot like in the 30s with old cameras and whatever.
Now, see what Tom's comment right here, and thank you, Tom, for posting this. After XX days, you get to purchase it at a deeply discounted price. So, So yeah, I think that's the case with that. So
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's interesting, but that's a little inside baseball. I don't think the average person cares what if the reviewer keeps it, has to buy it, or whatever. That's a little bit of inside baseball.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, we're worried about buying the drone, getting the drone in the U.S. or whatever, and small details like that don't really mean a whole lot.
yeah, Casey Crime Fighter. That's a great comment. I like that. I think that's good. That's a good one. Well,
Right.
okay. And one of the things that I'll say with all of this is, the guys that are out there, all right, they're putting out some great reviews. Okay, some great content on that. I don't think there's not, are they they're gonna talk more on the positive end, of course, on these drones. Okay, and they do a great job of that, and that's part of being a good content creator. But I think coming down the road, they may say, well, it may not, as far, the only type of flaws that I've seen in recent drones from DJI are probably the flight tracking and the flight tracking mechanism, because I think it's an imperfect science, Ron. As good as it's gotten over the past several years, it's still not quite,
Yeah.
and I'll say the Jedi
I
Master,
can't reveal my source, but I've heard it's much improved than the Mavic 4 Pro. But
that's what I'm thinking, because I saw that in some of the videos today. But the Jedi Master of that was Skydio. Okay, they kind of perfected that.
Yeah.
And,
the beacon was their secret weapon.
Yeah, the beacon with the Skydio.
And as far as we know, the DGRC track has been canceled permanently, according to Jasper Ellens.
Yeah. Well, and G-Boy, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you for stopping by tonight.
Yeah, I agree with G-Boy. The RC Pro 2 interested me more than the drone, maybe.
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the things. I think people would go out there. I think that'll sell really well.
But that's also unavailable, right, Bill?
Right. That's correct. That's unavailable as well too. Anything, and it's just for me, with all this here, Ron, I think it kind of gives everybody, like I said, people are just. I felt an uneasiness today in the drone community, because I think a lot of people, were uncertain, because really, since I've been doing this and you've been doing it, and Marcus and everybody, this is really kind of the first time that this has ever happened. All right.
Oh yeah.
The rug kind of gets pulled out from under us on launch day.
Yeah.
I mean,
for reasons we don't even quite understand. And I want to jump back to your last comment about the reviews. For all the DJI drones we reviewed over the years, there's really not a whole lot bad to say outside little nitpicking problems. The biggest con I saw in my time reviewing drones is when the Mavic 3 couldn't get the satellites. That was the biggest issue I've ever seen from a new DJI drone. Any other thing was nitpicking or whatever. Some little minor feature didn't work right or whatever. But the DJI 3 not getting the satellites, that was a legitimate gripe.
Exactly. And I think for most of us, where we're at right now, with this, and Ron brings up a good point. Through the years, we've really had, and I'm going back to the original Mavic Pro, all right, because I think that's when
I'll go back to the Phantom 4
and go back to the Phantom 4. All right, some of them had some incredible features, but for me, the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 for me, I thought was a great drone, but its Achilles heel was the props and the shots. Okay, and there was ways to work around it, but I shouldn't, if I'm paying that much for a drone, I shouldn't have to work around something like that.
But all drones, whether DJI or not, had that build of the Mavic 4 type build. They all had the props and the shots.
Right, and all had the props and the shots. So it's evolved, and it's evolving. It's evolving, and I think one thing I've kind of said since day one on the channel, and I really kind of like to emphasize this, is the technology that they use in the Matrice series and the technology they use in the Inspire series trickles down to the consumer series. Okay, it's something DJI's done consistently well throughout the years. All right, because the obstacle avoidance on this, from all the videos I saw today, was fantastic. I mean, Russ, I don't know if you saw Russ's video, but he did one. It was pitch black, literally at night. The only thing you could see were the green lights on the Mavic 4 Pro. and he held his hand out and it stopped. I mean, it just
Well, Mark Fisher's
wow.
testing it out right now in a total nighttime too, so we'll see. What he gets. So Dre's pointing out in the chat that the Mavic 4 Pro, it does a lot of great things, but it still doesn't have the mechanical shutter of the Phantom 4 Pro.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I agree. I mean, that mechanical shutter is still, still worth its weight, and you can still find them out on eBay. Go for it. If that's something that you want to have.
And Quick Cat, he's heated that it doesn't have a mechanical shutter, because there were some rumors early on that it would have a mechanical shutter. And of course, I've said all along, I don't think a DJI consumer drone will ever get a mechanical shutter again. That's just my opinion.
I think you're right. And, Michael Wright, that's why he keeps his with its 8 batteries. And that's a good point, Michael, because, having with a drone of that age, you got to keep on top of those batteries. And I know batteries that have been sitting on Amazon for years, some of them people would buy them and they're dead. I mean, when they're DOA, when they get them, they have to return them. So, that's part of the game if you keep a drone that old. Now, we recently found out that it's going to have end of service life is coming up for the
in June.
Yeah. So, you're kind of be on your own. But
hey, I will answer Martin's comment here. Martin, it was available in New York City this morning, but it sold out early, right, Ray?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And when it's coming back to New York City, Martin, we have no clue.
We don't.
It could be tomorrow, next week, next year. We don't know.
I was so happy. I was so happy Mark Fisher got.
He wanted that thing bad, Ray. Remember in Florida, he told us.
Yes.
Well, and this is for me. My curiosity is how much did these guys pay for it? That would be very telling. To find out that information would be really, really nice. Hint, Mark. I know you're probably not. You're out there getting ready.
He's flying in the dark, Bill. He can't even read receipts now.
Yeah. So, if you guys want to share that information, that's
Bill,
fine.
Bill, those guys can't share it because their wives may be watching.
Good point, Ron.
They've got Alex Escardo in the chat. I wonder if he found one, bought one.
He's still waiting for Ray Kelly to pick his up. And Alex used to live in New York, right? And maybe they're waiting for Alex to come back to New York.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I tell you, I was heading in west when that, right after we got off the show, I started heading in west, and all I had to do was drive another 35 minutes, and I could have been in the city.
Wow. And Ray, you're in New York. If you're in New York City, isn't that the city where sometimes things fall off the back of a truck?
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, Mavic 4 Pro could fall off the back of a truck.
It does happen. So, kind of to wrap things up here, I kind of want to pull things together here. All right. For those of you who've come late to the show, I want to kind of summarize things. This morning we found out during the launch that DJI did not release the Mavic 4 Pro in the United States. They released it in other countries.
And we feared that over the past several weeks or months.
Right. Now, we kind of had a precursor to that with, the teaser trailer not being out on DJI's US website when it was out on other ones. Plus, we didn't get the email that DJI customarily always sends out regarding that. And, we also talked about how several of our great drone reviewers out there were able to go to the store in New York City, which is not owned by DJI, to actually purchase them, which they were able to do that. And as someone, Dre pointed out in the chat, it's real curious, how did they get their stock? These are questions known but to God kind of things. And then we also discussed some of the reviews out there, what we thought were good, and some of the good points on all of them were good. If you watch Potato Jets, it's more of a, this is what, you're looking at the film from it, but the other guys got into details, and they're all good. Go out there, watch them all. They did a great job. That's what I can tell you. I just wish Aldrin had it, because I really like watching his. I know Ken did the same thing, but I like Aldrin's as well.
And maybe Aldrin does have it, but he's following the strict orders not to release the video until it's available in the U.S. And you can't blame him for that.
Exactly.
I love watching the different videos that the influencers put out. Really, they all have a different style, and they show all the key points on the new drones. And it does motivate you to go out and buy them. It really does.
Yeah, it's a good stuff. But look at Tom's comment here about the electronic shutter. He's exactly right. Tom says it's about 4 comments back. He says modern electronic shutters have improved significantly, migrating many previously associated issues. Let's remember the target audience. And what Tom means by that is, if you're mapping, if you're a hardcore mapper, you probably still feel you need the mechanical shutter. But if you're not doing mapping, it's really probably no need for that. Electronic shutter, digital shutter is fine. And DJI, if people are doing mapping, DJI expects them to buy an enterprise level drone, not a consumer drone. And the enterprise drones do have the mechanical shutters.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm agree with Mike Ray, that until today I didn't realize that CamRise was somehow in line with DJI. I didn't know they were associated.
And I'll say this, and this kind of like to wrap things up here is, the other thing we talked about is after midnight, the tariffs expire, so it may be out there. And I'm just saying don't say, yes. Bill said it's going to be out there, and Bill and Ron and Brace is going to be out there.
I stayed up all night for that thing.
I stayed up all night because those guys said to do it. And I said, it's your choice.
Eventually it will be
exactly
on sale online at different retailers, including DJI.
Ray, exactly. will we see a Mavic 4 Pro at the South Florida Drone Meetup next year?
Yeah.
The real question is, will we see a Mavic 5 Pro next year? No, I'm just kidding.
Only if you look in the shadows.
Only in the shadows. We're gonna, I wanted to go around the room here with you guys for any closing thoughts as we wrap things up.
Go ahead, Ray.
Again, for me, I wasn't going to buy it. I'm very excited for the guys who are going to buy it and have bought it. I am like tickled pink that Mark got one and Eddie got one, because I look forward to seeing their videos.
Yeah.
So all I can say is all the best with them, guys, and good luck.
Thank you, Ray. And I kind of had a strong premonition that I would not be able to buy it this morning because of tariffs and shipping issues and all that stuff. So I wasn't let down because I had low expectations of getting the drone today. And again, if the drone does eventually come up for sale in the U.S. and it comes up at a reasonable tariffs and whatever, affordable tariff prices, yes, I will go ahead and purchase one in the future. But if that day happens, that's good. If that day never happens, I'm good also. I just hope that the decks are clear for the Mini 5 Pro release in the fall, because the Mini 5 Pro will be a much more popular drone with most of the hobby community than the Mavic 4 Pro will be. So that's my hope, that the Mini 5 Pro can make an appearance this fall in the U.S. Bill?
I pretty much can carbon copy what Ron just said. I had expectations that we probably weren't going to see it, mostly because of the tariffs, and that did play out true. And while I know quite a few, there were some people that were disappointed in everything, and there's nobody, he said, she said kind of thing. Don't get into that. Don't go there. All right, because it'll eventually, because as I mentioned this morning, and I'll say it again in closing here, there's money to be had there, and DJI's going to make sure and put every effort into making sure that we can get this product at a fair market value. They don't want to have to charge us $1,000 over this, okay? No. Because they know that they won't get the sales level that they should get. All right, so they're in on this too. So just be patient, wait. Just
and one final thing.
Go for
DJI
it.
is the best.
Yes. I agree. Question of the day. What did you think of DJI Mavic 4 Pro unavailable in the USA? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.